What's happening? I'm Iron Man from the music group The Lottery, Showtime Records, and I bring to you my daily views, playoff edition. Everything concerning the NBA, the schedule, my picks, and the reasons why. If you like the video, make sure and subscribe to the channel. Hit that little notification bell right next to it so you never miss a brand new video. On today's menu, we've got a recap of Game 4 between the Celtics and the Bucks, and Game 4 between the Toronto Raptors and Washington Wizards. And then we'll get into a preview of Game 4 of the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Utah Jazz. My pick to go on to the NBA Finals and win it all. But first we got the Celtics versus Bucks in Game 3. Eric Bledsoe finally woke up, realized that he was actually getting challenged by Terry Rozier. Had a fantastic game while shutting down Rozier at every turn. It put up huge numbers, dominated the game, and they got the easy victory within the raucous confines of the Milwaukee Bucks center. Thon Maker and Jabari Parker finally got some more minutes. They were extremely productive to supplement the huge production of Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, and also Chris Middleton, who has quietly been the MVP of the series. While the dynamic duo of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum had an extremely off night, very quiet. Cannot have two starting members of your team have average to so-so production and still expect to win. The start of this Game 4, Jaylen Brown must have got the memo, because this guy was super aggressive coming out in the first quarter, taking it strong to the rack, even though Aaron Baines rejected his shot. But that did not deter him as he continued to knock down jumpers and taking it strong to the hole. Then you had a Matthew Dellavedova sighting. This guy had the fantastic steal right at the end of the first quarter to lay it up off the backboard, and it counted for two. During the second quarter, the defense was rather stout by the 7-foot-tall Thon Maker. Jason Tatum seemed to be befuddled by how to get around this tall, lengthy, and aggressive defender. Jabari Parker had been labeled as soft on the defensive end, but he did get a fantastic block on Jaylen Brown. Energy of the Milwaukee crowd just kept them pushing. They were always on the break. The defense was outstanding. A lot of players who hadn't been getting minutes were playing very well at home. Pushed it to about a 20-point lead. But the signs of a well-coached team is that you continue to steadily plug away, chip away at a big-time lead. And that's exactly what the Celtics did late during the third quarter. I mean, Al Horford crossed over Thon Maker at about half court, went it and turned on the Jets. I didn't know this guy was that fast, and then slammed it down with authority with about 3 other people down underneath. Couldn't do nothing about it. This was actually a very exciting game as Jaylen Brown continues to submit himself as a future all-star in this league. He kept coming, kept attacking, and they had no answers for him no matter who switched up on him. This guy was getting buckets. Not only that, his running mate Jason Tatum was also getting buckets. Terry Rozier didn't have a great shooting night as he went 3 for 12, but he did have 10 points, only 1 turnover to 8 assists. That's an 8-to-1 ratio. That is fantastic and exactly what a point guard is supposed to do. Then you add in 1 steal, 1 block, and 5 rebounds. The guy had a hell of a game. Guy who was 3rd on the depth chart at the beginning of the season, or 2nd at best. This guy is now starting in the playoffs for the Boston Celtics, a storied and very proud franchise. Then you got Eric Bledsoe. This guy, he's supposed to be a superstar on that team for them, not some guy coming off the bench. That's why they traded away what they did to the Phoenix Suns to get this guy to help out Giannis Antetokounmpo. This guy went back into his shell. He only had 9 points, was a -10 in the plus or minus. You are hurting the team when you're on the floor. They are sucking more when you're on the floor than when you are off of it. That is horrible. He only had 1 turnover, but he only had 5 assists and 31 huge minutes. He had 1 steal, 2 blocks, but he only had 1 rebound. That is not going to cut it. Terry Rozier had 5. You got to do better than that. They're expecting more out of you. Giannis was efficiently productive as he always is with 27 points, 12 of 20 from the field. That's 60%. You can't ask for too much more, but he threw in 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Yeah, he had 2 turnovers, but that's excellent for a non-point guard. Chris Middleton continues to be excellent with 23 points. 2 blocks, 2 steals, 2 assists, filling up the stat sheet, 6 rebounds in only 37 minutes, shooting 8 of 14, well over 50%. Yes, Eric Bledsoe was hot garbage. The job of a point guard is to stop the bleeding. When there's a problem, when the other team goes on a run, that's when you initiate your aggressiveness and get that timely bucket to stop the other team's run. The guy only had like 9 points. That's just not enough. He was a minus 10 on the floor. They just can't have that. That's why the Bucks, who had went on to a huge early lead, about 20 points, that's why the Boston Celtics kept clawing away and coming back. They had no one to stop the run because Eric Bledsoe played such a horrible game. Thank God they had Malcolm Brogdon, the Rookie of the Year, last year. This guy came in and stated them down. He made the right plays at the right time at the end of the game. He got that crucial assist right before he made that. He took what would be the go-ahead shot at Giannis Antetokounmpo with those 10-foot long arms, tapped that ball in. The Celtics went to sleep. Then Morris got a very good look. I mean, it was a very good look. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better look than that. It was a one-on-one. He just had to make his move, and guy put his hand in his face. Shot was just a little bit long. But why did the Celtics lose? The Celtics lost. Let me tell you why. The Celtics lost for this plain reason. They had 3 guys to come off the bench. Greg Monroe played 5 minutes. Yabusele, I don't know how to spell it. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Excuse me for that. Shane Larkin played 17 minutes off the bench. You know how many points they combined for in their 28 minutes off the bench? 28 minutes off the bench. These guys combined for 0 points. And that's why they lost the game. You cannot have 0-point production from 3 guys off the bench. It just cannot, absolutely not happen. Boston Celtics lose this game. Milwaukee Bucks tie up the series 104-102, 2 games apiece. Oh my God, then we had the Toronto Raptors versus the Washington Wizards. The Wizards desperately needed to win this game 4 to tie up the series. They did not want to go back to Toronto down 3-1. And after the raucous game 3, there was a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving, a lot of name calling. I'm sure names that their moms did not give them. Bradley Beal finally woke up. John Wall played a fantastic game. At the same damn time, come on. While Serge Ibaka, well, I can't be mad at Serge Ibaka. I mean, it's not his fault that they didn't get any production from him in game number 3. I think he missed the flight. He didn't make it out to Washington. That's why he gave like 0 production. And that's why they lost game 3. The dynamic duo for the Toronto Raptors was okay. But the dynamic duo for the Washington Wizards was phenomenal and fantastic. Serge Ibaka didn't show up. Something wrong with his passport. Then in game 4, it looked like it'd be most of the same thing. I mean, John Wall came on the right side baseline and just detonated the left-handed sledgehammer over Jonas Valanciunas. I can't even say it was over him because it looked like he wasn't even in the picture. I mean, it looked like John Wall was about a foot higher than this guy off the ground. He said, "Get like me." I mean, I don't know what's going on right now. Not only did he get punched on, then he talked noise about it. He let him know, none of that in my house. None of that. I am an elite point guard. I was just coming back off an injury. I was just letting y'all get y'all's confidence high. None of that in my house. The series is over. That did get the crowd hype, but it did not slow down the Toronto Raptors, who were cool and calm in the face of pressure as they mounted up the early lead and went all off into halftime. I think all the extra energy the Wizards had from the crowd had them a little sloppy during the first half, but during the third quarter, it was a totally different story as Bradley Beal, up to that point in the game, was 4 for 4 from deep 3-point land. Otto Porter actually decided to join the series. He ended up, I believe, with 12 points. Not great, but as a third member of the Big Three. I could take that. It's better than 7, which is what he had been putting up. He knocked down a few shots. Kyle Lowry was steady trying to stem the tide. But DeMar DeRozan, up to that point, he only hit like 3 of 12. This guy was terrible. This guy kept chucking, and he kept bricking. I mean, if you keep shooting, eventually he made some of those shots, but his shooting percentage was horrible. And it allowed the Washington Wizards to get back into the game and to take the lead late in the third quarter. Not to mention, Marcin Gortat actually put in some work with 12 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal, shooting 6 from 8. DeMar DeRozan ended up with about 14 points during the third quarter. I guess that was attributed to the foul trouble that Bradley Beal got in, because Bradley Beal was on fire for most of the game. Of course, when he goes and sit down, that's a lot of pressure off of DeMar DeRozan. During that fourth quarter, the energy of the crowd took over. DeMar DeRozan had a valiant effort as he kept attacking, even getting some and ones, but it just wasn't enough to counter the continuous pick and roll of JMVOL and Marcin Gortat or Otto Porter Jr., anybody else. The pick and roll, and then the pick and pop. This guy was pulling up with the 16-foot jumpers. They said this guy couldn't shoot, but he's got that mid-range game knocked down tight. And then when you help, he's passing it off to Bradley Beal, who continued to be on fire. How could you expect the Raptors to win when their starting power forward continues to be missing in action? Serge Ibaka only had 7 points. The starting small forward OG Anunoby only had 4 points. Ibaka played 34 minutes. OG played 22 minutes. That's outrageous. You are not going to win a game, especially not a playoff game, against the Washington Wizards in their home building. They tie up the series 2-2, 106-98. Now the game for tonight, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Utah Jazz. Like I said before, the Rockets also play tonight, but I will do them in their own individual video because I am Houston's own. There's not very much to really talk about here. In game 3, what can we say? Russell Westbrook got dominated. Did you hear what I said? He didn't just get beat up on, he got dominated by Ricky Rubio. Rubio pulled off the Russell Westbrook. He had a triple-double, while Westbrook only had 14 points. Are you serious? And this guy had 8 turnovers, giving the ball away. He didn't want to win. Melo was good. Paul George was as good as can be expected, playing alongside that chucker. But Russell Westbrook plays too much individual basketball. I told you before the series started, as Russell Westbrook goes, so go the Oklahoma City Thunder. He continues to be a stat patter. One of the commenters actually came up with the name Russell Statbrook. It is very appropriate. The Utah Jazz, who I claim or hope or guess or predict will go to the NBA Finals and win it all because they are the most complete team on both sides of the ball. There's no glory mongers. Nobody's trying to be the hero. No one's trying to put up ridiculous stats, get an award. From top to bottom, they play great, including my pick for Rookie of the Year. I said it, Rookie of the Year, not co-rookie. Donovan Mitchell, who had 22 points, balanced scoring, balanced defensive effort, and the crowd was way too much for the OKC Thunder. I expect more of the same thing. You say, Kobe, but we already gave him as what? More. I want more rooting, more chanting. More pressure is going to be on Oklahoma City Thunder. And they will crack and fold underneath that pressure. Do I think Rubio will have another triple-double? No. But I think he's going to continue to have a good game because it's not based on being an individual. How are you supposed to stop that? Somebody who's passing the ball. How are you supposed to stop that? Can't do it. Won't do it. Can't win with them. I expect the Oklahoma City Thunder to lose Game 4 and go down 3-1 to the Utah Jazz, led by the fantastic team play. If you enjoyed this content, please like and thumbs up the video. Subscribe to the channel, hit that little notification bell right next to it so they alert you every time there's a brand new video. And feel free to share this content with all your friends, your family, your homies, your girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. Your co-workers, your bosses, your fans, and followers. If you think they may enjoy the content, I'm Iron Man from the music group The Lottery, Showtime Records. And it's just how I see it. Be blessed and Godspeed. Feel free to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy it. Really and truly appreciate it. Leave all your interesting comments right down below, especially the ones where you disagree with everything that I just said. And then subscribe so you don't miss any of the newest and latest views.